Down.
Why?
So you can see everybody. Push.
You can see there. I can see. All right, folks. Here we are in another round on a Saturday night. When everybody's out drinking and partying and eating, we're sitting here, whether you're in the morning or in the evening, wherever you are. How's everybody doing today? You know, keep your microphone muted unless you want to speak, so everything stays quiet. And you know, so when somebody watches the recording later, we won't have all these noises. But as soon as you want to speak, just unmute your mic, speak, and then remute. We were just briefly discussing about what Marin's going through. Unreal. Unreal. I've never ever seen anything like it. And as we were saying, I don't think there's anybody on the planet that's gone through what he's gone through and survived. Let's put it that way. It's just miraculous what this poor soul has gone through, and what he's enduring and what has endured. It's just incredible. The last 2 weeks he's been, you know, complaining about very, very severe weakness and feeling like he's been going through chemo radiation treatment again. And the urine, he was saying it smells so bad, like a chemical factory. And it's the sediment coming out is like it's like pure, I don't know what's the word we can use, glue, sand. I don't know. And he urinates in this metal container, and he can't clean it off anymore. It's just completely cemented onto the stainless steel bowl that he's been urinating in. And this has been happening for 2 weeks, every day. And you know, he's kind of a little bit of depressed because of what he's going through. But man, oh man, we're complaining about a few little things here and there. So, you know, what I see is happening is his whole vascular system and everything the chemo touched is shedding right now. That's what I see happening. And it's coming all out through the urinary tract and through the bowels. He's still, removing waste through the bowels. He hasn't eaten in well over 200 days, probably about 230 days now. I don't even know. The body's still eliminating on how much stuff they put in this poor guy. So, you know, this just shows you guys that everything's possible. It's all a matter of our belief system, our faith, because there's nothing the body can't do when you have that trust and the faith in our inherent ability for the body to completely heal. And this is a lesson for all of us. Like, this guy's taken this further than anybody. You know, he's here to show us what's possible, and as well as Gabriel is here, he's healing a complete, neurological issue from an accident with severe damage.
Piece of cake for me.
Well, you know, not really. Not in the eyes of all other healing modalities in modern medicine, but man, oh man, what you know, like we're all getting lessons here. This is what's going on. We're all getting lessons. I pray that he survives all this, because he's here to teach us. That's all the way I see it. It's just wow, 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 wow. So anything happening with any of you here? Who do we have on here? Today's Gabrielis, Rana, Dana, Artie, Phyllis, Roberts. Yeah, we don't have all the names, depending on how they're logged in. We have a few people on. Elena. Hello, Elena. Elena's been to Filanov's retreat a couple of times, I believe. She mentioned for dry fast. Yeah, well, maybe you can share with us some experience you had there, Elena. If you can unmute your mic.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I don't know what to share. Do you have any questions?
The experience, what exactly happens when you go to the retreat there in Russia with Dr. Filnov?
The thing is that it's hard to explain for a Western standard people. So the first time I went there 2 years ago, I was shocked myself because I've been living in the United States for 17 years and I didn't expect. Of course, my standards changed already. And it's a remote location, very beautiful. It's all nature. You wake up to mountains, forests, and rivers around you. And it's very remote. The group is there on their own, so there is nobody around. And it's basically nobody is in white coats. Filonov doesn't take any measurements, which is very hard to explain to anybody. So he doesn't measure, he doesn't take any measurements, he doesn't follow the standard medical precisions. He's just very intuitive guy. Last summer I was there, he was celebrating 30 years from his first patient. So he had like 30 years of experience. So he's very intuitive, he's very available, very accessible. He's right there living with us. So it's not like he has hours of work, he is available 24/7. The amount of responsibility this guy takes on him, it's unbelievable. By the time he runs his last retreat in September, he's completely exhausted. He took so much on himself, so he's like totally wasted, like drained completely.
Wow.
So just like Eugene, he developed a system. It's not only dry fast that's going on there. Through the years, he developed a system. They used a lot of ancient Russian techniques like bee therapy, bee sting therapy, leeches, every day, very deep manual massage. They basically put all organs in place. They restore distorted anatomy in the body. And cupping therapy, bloodletting therapy, so all these things together with dry fast. He says that it's very effective because on dry fast your body is very receptive. All organs, you can basically touch all organs with your hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So you went 2 times. You did what, 8 days and a 10-day, I believe you said?
Yes.
The 10-day was the last one?
That was last August. It was only like, what, 3-4 months ago I did 10 days.
And what do they charge for something like that? Just curious.
If you convert to
Approximately, roughly.
because the price, of course, in Russian currency, it's gonna be approximately $40-45 per day.
Wow, cheap.
Very cheap.
Wow.
The amount of things they do for you there, like it's every day it's some kind of therapy, not only dry fast. Not only that, they take you every day because dry fast in the middle of nowhere, of course, there is nothing to do. So every day they take you to see sightseeing, to lakes, rivers, forests, like they take you so you experience Siberia, and to make it the time go faster for you.
Amazing.
Everything included, Juliana?
Everything is included, yeah.
Okay.
But there's nothing to include. I mean, there's no food.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, after you break the fast, of course, there is food, but everything is included. Yeah.
I mean the stay, like hotel or whatever those
No, it's
little
not a
houses.
hotel. No,
I know those little houses.
it's like it's very limited. It's like Russian ancient cabins
Yep.
with the thing you put. I don't know. It's not regular like fireplace, but you put logs, firewood, and basically no electricity. They have electricity only for a few hours in the evening.
And it stops in September, you said, because of the snow?
Because it's too cold there. It's too cold, yeah. I was in September 2 years ago, and we had to fire that fireplace at night. And of course, there is no water, any kind of water in those cabins, and the toilets is outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very rough. It's very
I'm familiar with those.
yeah. But I
I've
personally,
been to Russia a couple times.
Beautiful time, beautiful place.
yeah. So
So that's very interesting. Did you any cold water dipping baths or anything?
oh, there are plenty of sources around. You know, there is big and small rivers, and it's yeah, you can do it. But Filonov concern is that water is taking your energy away from you. So he says, be careful. He doesn't like you to have any contact with water, at least for the first 6 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, after 6 days, I became so heated from inside, I couldn't bear it. So his concern is if you start doing dipping, you're gonna feel thirsty and you won't be able to go on. But for me, it was like the heat that would like torture me. So I started having like those dips and splashing in Siberian ice cold waters from day 6, and it helped me a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially when you start getting that 6-7 days, I found it really helps using the cold water. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, we found the spring that would come from the mountain, and the water was so unbearably cold, but for us it was like heaven, right? We got like on the skin, we got on the faces like cold burn, but for us it was like heaven. We were splashing out like
That's amazing. That's truly amazing. It's cheaper than being at home. What he's charging.
right. It's very, very, very reasonable. Of course, you have to travel. It's a
Yes,
long
of course. Yeah.
And to get the visa, Russian visa, that's another problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Because they don't allow some certain citizens from certain countries.
Ah, okay.
And especially now when the relationship is a little tighter with the States, that's an issue.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing that. That's interesting. I was always wondering how they do it there. Just do it in the raw form in nature. That's the best way.
The best way, yeah. And I remember, Gina, you asked if he is advising to walk or move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is for that. And actually, he had like a dream to run one day a fast that we would be just walking. Fasters would be, it was like in the form of a hike. I don't know who can handle it, but he had that idea. I don't know if he'll be able to do it, but in the form of hike. So you go to like one of Siberian lakes or those like areas, and you just walk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like camping. It's like hiking and camping, and you of course use. It's like it, but I don't know if it's doable like that.
Yeah.
So his opinion is the best. It's just walk for like as much as you can.
See, that's what I found through just my experience. I tried the first few dry fasts just lying around, and I felt horrible. And then I started moving myself, and I felt better. So then I forced myself to move even more, and you feel even better. So this just makes total sense because the lymphatic is the energy system, and it doesn't have a pump. And when we have all this stagnation, there's no movement, and you can't get any energy. So you have to move. You have to move. And that's how the energy starts coming. The more you move, the more energy you have. You don't have to do anything really crazy strenuous, but you have to move. And this is one of the keys of dry fasting, where you can push it further. We can, get the breath going and so on and so forth. A lot of people, they just lie down there. I made the mistakes as well at the beginning. We're all learning, but this is one of the keys of dry fast. You got to move. You have to move. And I'm glad that that's what he's suggesting as well, because it totally relates and makes sense on how the body works. But the issue is that we can't just dry fast and go back to a normal lifestyle. You ain't going to get much benefit. You need you need something to maintain and keep the body going. So we continue with dry fasting, but we gotta continue with some kind of clean diet, and this is where with the Master Fast system we can actually do the hybrid and just do one meal a day, live off that, or just live on the Master Fast system if you want, like the Marin's doing, or just do a few of them a year. But the main issue is we need to remove the garbage out of our GI tract, and this is where all the physical ailments come from, and it's just a cesspool. And you can eat all the fruit you want for 5, 10, 15 years. You're not going to remove that stuff unless you fast. You need to have fasting part of your life. That's the problem. The problem is we eat too much, folks. We eat way too much. So, the key is when we're eating, we should focus on eating foods with the least obstruction. And the least obstructive physical foods are fruit. They still obstruct. It's matter, and it still will give you obstruction, even though it's fruit. But it's minimal compared to when you go down the line from the other food categories. Greens will give you more obstructions, and then you go on, down from there. You get your fats and your proteins and your all that other stuff, the grains and all that. These are very obstructive foods, and this is where the physical ailments all stem to come from. But the physical is only a manifestation of our emotion. It always starts with a thought, and that's where we need to focus on the most, because we can actually, if we really truly have the proper intent and emotion, I believe you can clean out the physicality by just that. But you'd have to be at a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Enlightened level to do that. And, most of us are not, so including myself. So we do it the hard way. We do it through our diet and through fasting, and eventually, little by little, we can clean our physical body. So we open ourselves up to connection to one creation more and more. That's what I find myself. The more we clean our body, the more we get connected, and we have more downloads of information. That's what I see. I've been getting myself. The more I fast, the more information I get, and the more common sense things seem to be for me. So, fasting is the key, folks. We need to fast, and we need to, when we go back to eating, we need to focus on eating less. It's challenging because food is all around us. Everything we do revolves around food. Social gatherings, family, friends, funerals, you name it, everything's revolved around food. So these are the challenges for all of us, and it's a real emotional struggle for a lot of us. So all we can do is we fall down, we got to get back up and start again and keep going and just stay focused. There is no other way. Um, uh, I feel that you know, our whole goal is to keep focusing on eating less and less and less, because when you start removing obstructions from the body, your body will not need the amount of food you used to eat. I've noticed that with me. If I look at when I started, well, let's go back, way back, when I was eating an everything diet, Italian diet, I would eat huge amounts of food. I was a big eater. I would clean up all the leftovers people would eat. I just devour everything. And when I got into fasting in 1990, things changed a little bit. You know, I've mentioned before, I ended up in bed after my first fast for 2 years, and that really awakened me. But even going into vegetarian and lifestyle, I still was eating a lot of food. And then in 2000, I went raw. You know, I still was eating a lot of food, but it always was a little bit less than prior diets, but I still ate a lot. And the more I fasted, the more I ate raw, the less I was able to eat, you know. And every time I would eat with my eyes, meaning eat way more than my stomach can handle, I never felt well. So that's why I always kept fasting as part of my life. Every season change was pretty much like clockwork for me. I would always do 7 to 14 days minimum. And, you know, then occasionally we'll do longer ones, 30, 40, 50, 60 days, whatever. But this was part of my life, always. That would reset me all the time. And if I missed one of these season changes, I can feel it. And then the next one I would get back in there. So this is where I feel that as we keep removing more and more obstructions, what I've noticed in myself is we don't need to eat as much. The connection to a source of energy that we're not used to, which is not physical, is much more available to us when we remove obstructions. The Arnold Herrick's formula is something that hits the spot for me. V equals P take away O. Vitality equals power take away obstruction. So that's my mantra. You know, when I'm doing my long dry fast, that's my mantra. V equals P take away O. V equals P take away O. So, you know, the more obstructions we have in our body, the body uses the power to remove those obstructions and your vitality goes down. When you remove the obstructions, your body doesn't have to use the power to remove those obstructions and vitality goes up. It's a simple formula and it's common sense to me. So that's where I believe that if we can get to the point that we can get our lymphatic system completely free of obstructions, I don't know if it's possible, I think it is because everything's possible, then we wouldn't even need movement to allow flow within our lymphatic system, and we'd have a continuous supply of energy. Because that's our energy system. It's not our blood system. Our blood system is attached more to our emotion. So, you know, the whole key about being healthy is remove these obstructions. And they manifest from a seed, from a thought, from emotion, and then it becomes a physicality, an obstruction, where we reach for a piece of food or whatever to create those obstructions. So we need to learn to control ourselves and then focus on you know, what we want to achieve with our health. That's the way I look at it, and I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible, because when we complicate things, they don't seem to work out. So we got to keep things simple. And for me, we have to focus on keeping. Somebody's got their mic open. Got their mic open. Strange. What's that noise coming from? So we got to keep things simple. That's why I believe MasterFast is a very, very simple program. Like, some people are reading through the website and they don't understand it. I can't comprehend myself how I can make it more simple. I think most people get it. It just shows how toxic some people are, and just the mind is not able to process. Drink juice, get your tinctures, your tea 2-3 times a day, psyllium once a day, and have a dry fasting window each day. I don't know how much more simple we can make it. If anybody has an easier way to do it, so everybody can understand it, that would be nice. But it's as simple as I think, I believe.
It's new to many people.
Yeah, it's
new information to new people who are new to cleansing.
Yeah, maybe, but even I've seen some people that are already in cleansing for many, many years in some degrees. They think they're in cleansing, but they're eating, and they have some problems and challenges understanding it. If you are believing that taking a few herbs and eating fruit is cleansing, I think we're giving people a wake up call, because not in my book. Not in my book. Eating fruit is our species food, and taking a few herbs, yeah, the herbs are there to help us and all that, but to get the biggest bang for the buck and allow the herbs to do their magic is what I've discovered is only when you're fasting. That's when they do their real magic, and you're seeing what's happening with all people on the master fast. It's really shining and coming through that the system really allows the body to cleanse and heal at levels we have not seen before, or I haven't seen. If anybody else has other ways, we'll add them on to improve it. But I always look at subtraction as the key to health, not adding. And that's why the system has minimal things in it, just some herbs and some pudding and the juice, just to carry us on so we can go long. But it's not about adding things. And, we keep seeing people getting in trouble, and then we see a lot of opinions of people, oh, you need to add this, and you need to add that, and you need to that. They just don't understand the simplicity of how the body heals. These are advices that, for me, is complicating people's minds and moving them in the wrong direction, as far as I'm concerned. Because adding is not going to make things better. It's absolute opposite. Remove everything, and you're going to heal even faster. And that's why dry fasting is part of the master fast. And master fast, as I've said before, it's a glorified dry fast for life. For life. And anytime your mind starts wandering that, maybe I need some B12 or I need some minerals and all that, get out of the mind. Get out of the mind. It's only going to complicate and confuse you. A body has everything it requires to heal. There's nothing we need. The herbs are amazing beings, very, very highly elevated, much more so than humans or animals. I've said this many times, and they will really help you, folks. They will really help you. There's quite a few people who have went on what they call the master fast without any herbs, and then they went on to herbs, and they seen the difference night and day. It's it's cheap insurance. I don't know how much cheaper you want to do. Like, it's being on the master fast for me. It's approximately $10 a day loaded up with all kinds of herbs. Loaded. In different countries it may vary, but eating fruit. Oh man, $10. The cost of fruit these days. A couple of mangoes can cost you $10 now. It's getting crazy. The prices have gone insane in the last couple of years here in the Toronto area. It's just insane. $20, you can't buy hardly anything. A case of persimmons, a case of pears, $12, $13. It's just getting crazy. It's just getting crazy, the prices. So when people start complaining that it's too expensive, they're just not ready to do what it takes to heal, because it's just ridiculous even making those statements. The only way you're going to eat cheaper is if you're eating just potatoes and rice. It's the only way you're going to do it, eating cheaply. You can get them in bulk, and that's it. But you know, that ain't going to be conductive to any health, eating potatoes and rice. I've been down that road, and those things are just going to plug you up and irritate you. Very, very inflammatory, but they taste great. they sure taste great. Anybody have any questions? I'm rambling on here. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anybody
I wanted to ask a question to Helena when she was speaking earlier. I heard she said something about cutting. Did she say some cutting treatment, or was it bruise treatment? That
Cupping.
cupping. Oh, okay. I thought she said cutting.
Yeah, you know the suction cups they use in Chinese.
Okay. Yes, and it's something to do. I seen somebody doing a bruise treatment, so they would.
Yeah, these things we can use these to assist, but to use these and believe that these are going to be your cure is a fallacy.
I was thinking maybe it's not good to push it, like all these things like massages or all these gadgets that you can buy that they say they accelerate the healing, but I think it was in Arnold Ehret's book also where he said if you use these gadgets, if you push, it's like a rubber band. You only pull so much, and then there's a flash effect after that. If you push it more than what your body can handle, then
Exactly.
there's no shortcut. Basically, you will have to come back.
No, we can only assist the body, and that's why I keep saying we always push beyond our comfort zones safely, and only you're going to know what that is. To each one of us, pushing beyond our comfort zone has a different meaning. I've went through detoxes where I thought I was going to die, but I kept going. So that's the way I am. I've almost passed out on the toilet sometimes or whatever, and because of the severe pains and so on. But that's just the way I am. Most people, they don't want to tolerate themselves to that, but because I know I have a trust and a faith of doing so many, and I understand how the body works. Once you release, whoa, it's like, hallelujah, you're a new person. So that's why we need to push beyond our comfort zone. We have to. Little by little, we push more and more and more. We're going to have those little pains and suffering and whatever. The biggest problem is that when you can't breathe. That's a real struggle because we need to breathe. But most of the other things is we should be able to tolerate them. Cramping and this and that and the other thing, but they go away. They go away. Anybody else?
With the breathing, isn't the adrenals?
Yeah, the adrenals could be obstructions in the lung as well, but some of the thyroid. It's everything has to do with a little bit of everything. What starts happening when you're in these deep fasts and stuff? You have to understand, like, the body is using muscles and contractions and so on and so forth to move obstructions. That's why we get cramping and all that. This is the only way the body can do it, because these obstructions are foreign, and the body's got to use whatever it can. And what does it have available? It has muscles and tendons and so on to pull and push to squeeze it out. So if you understand that, that's what's happening. It needs to move it. And some of these things, these obstructions, are very, very deep within our tissues and cells. So there's a lot of force and it could be in the heart, with squeezing pins and needles. I've had a lot of that. So it's just stuff being squeezed out. That's all you have to think about. And, there's usually not much danger happening. The biggest one is the breathing. So if we're having an issue breathing, we use some of the tools with the burnt wood spoon stuff, massage those adrenals, kidneys, very deep and hard. And then you get into the acupressure points for all the points for breathing. I posted a chart, very nice chart, that will assist you in where the areas are. I don't remember them all. I use the chart as well. And these points work. And you will feel, if you get the right spot, you will feel pain because there's stagnation on the acupressure points on that meridian. So you massage that until the pain goes away, and you will see the symptom of what you have will disappear because the energy is moving. And that's all we're doing. We're assisting the body of what it's trying to do on its own. That's all we can do. You have to have that trust and that faith that the body knows exactly what to do when you're in a fast. When you're eating, I'm not going to talk about that because when you're eating, you're not healing. I'll keep saying that over and over. When you're in a fast on nature's operating table, you have to trust and keep faith that the body knows what it's doing to heal you. You need to have that. And you have to surround yourself with people or books or things that will help you go through these times to understand what's happening when you're going through these healing reactions. They're not crises, they're reactions of the body doing what it has to do to move obstructions of a stagnant area within the body, and that's why you have your illnesses. They're just obstructions, stagnation. Any other questions, ideas, comments, ideas, beliefs that we can add, expand?
I was wondering about the long hair. How how this when you talk about fasting, when you start to cleanse your body, you also lose you also cleanse certain emotions, right? And feelings attached to it. So also with the long hair, if somebody has long hair, I know in Buddhism, for example, there's a practice of shaving your head. I was wondering if you know something about that as well. If it's good to keep long hair or to cut it short when you cleanse. Because I had long hair before and I cut it. I had really long when I was going through a lot when I was sick with my stomach, and I was still feeling out of effects. But I remember when I shaved my head, I went skinhead. A lot of symptoms also subsided. No joke. And I thought maybe it's just a placebo. It's like there's maybe something to it. I don't know.
Well, you have to understand that every cell in our body, hair cells, has gravitational magnetic field strength. And if you look at some of the Native Indians in North America, there's articles that talk about why they kept long hair. They believe they were like an antennas to the cosmos, and they've done actually tests in the U.S. Army, I believe, where they used these Native Indians for tracking and so on and so forth. As soon as they shaved their hair, they lost the ability. And so there's something there, okay, with the hair. Now, for me, myself, over the years, whenever I started getting into a longer fast, I stopped shaving and just let everything go. I don't want to do anything. And that's the way I would do just myself. But there is some connection. We don't fully understand it, but there is something happening. It is some kind of antenna. Even Arnold Herod talked about it. The hair. It's like the essence of the flower. We should have a beautiful aroma coming out of our hair, not stenches. It's just a reflection of the internal organs and body. So the hair's definitely got a connection to part of our being because it's part of us. You experienced shaving your head, you got rid of some symptoms. That's pretty unique. I don't know, but there's definitely something going on with the hair for sure. Like when we start losing our hair, for me, that was when I started getting into the high fat the stuff. My memory is starting to go. Everything. Everything's related. It's all stagnation, from all those fats and proteins and all that stuff. So we need to keep energy moving and flowing. That's all it is. It's that simple. Stagnation is disease. The universe is always in motion. There's nothing standing still in the universe. Everything is always interacting with other things continuously. We have these gravitational magnetic fields, which is plasma. Everything's interacting with everybody and everything, and as we are all right now. So these things are continuous, and plasma is always looking to balance. When there's one stronger than the other one is giving, and the other one is receiving to try and balance each other out. This is what's always happening. So when you have something that's stagnant within the body, we're interfering with these flows, and that's why we get ill. And we just need to free up these energies. And the easiest way is stop eating. Stop eating, because obstructions cause stagnation. It's that simple. The things we can do on the fast, we have all these tips written down on the website and on the file section. Enemas. Anytime you feel off, no matter what it is, emotionally, pains, whatever, enemas. If you want to do enemas every day, twice a day, it's only going to assist you. It will not harm you. Like people say, it's going to make your bowels weak and everything. This is all nonsense, folks. This is all nonsense. If you two people do, have very similar genetics and stagnation and so on and so forth by looking at their eyes, fairly the same ages and so on and so forth. One does no enemas and the other one does enemas. I'm telling you, the person that's going to do the enemas is going to have far easier and better outcome than the person who doesn't do enemas. It's just an easy tool for us to use. Like it's ludicrous not to use it. If everybody's that's used enemas knows what I'm talking about. You have something going on, you do an enema, and whoa, you're relieved. Why have to let yourself suffer extra because you believe that enemas are not good for you? It's ridiculous. Like there's some fasting retreats that they won't allow you to do enemas and so on. They don't believe you're not supposed to do this stuff. Whatever. Or they don't believe you need to use herbs and they're toxic. It's ridiculous. Toxic herbs are the most powerful. Most powerful. Gabrielis can tell you about it. We won't talk about what herbs were you doing, but it's just totally ridiculous, the belief systems people have. That's all it is. It's belief systems. It has nothing to do with reality of facts of how the universe works. These herbs, they're here for purposes to assist us and help us. Like I said, they're very highly elevated. We've lost our connection to communicate with them, most of us in modern societies, but there's still a lot of shaman and herbalists and so on and so forth that can communicate with plants. And that's how we have the wisdom of what plants are good for certain ailments and so on and so forth. This has been carried on from thousands of years from people who used to be able to connect to plants and know, okay, and the plant communicates, this is what I can help you with, this part of your body, this part of your emotion, this so on and so forth. There's a communication happening there. It doesn't have to be things that we're used to. A communication with plasma happens without language. You just know. It's a knowing. I shared this one plant with Gabrielis. I didn't even know it was for that purpose. We found out after he got his results. It confirmed. It was just a knowing I had to share with him. So this is how it happens, folks. Go walking in nature and look around to all the plants and so on and so forth and herbs and see if you get attracted to plants. I was doing this in Italy. We have different plants growing there than we do in Canada. We have a lot of the similar ones, same ones, but there was a lot of different plants that I've never seen before. And I was attracted to them, and I was picking them and making teas out of them. I didn't even know what they were. I didn't die. But, you got to be careful. Just learn to be in tune, especially when you're fasting. Your connection is more clear, I find, when you're fasting. way more than when you're eating. As soon as you eat, poof, everything, you feel like going to sleep. Even if it's fruit, it still takes their energy down to a level to some degree, especially if you overeat. If you eat just enough, about a fistful amount of food, that's all really our stomach needs that can fit. Anything more, we're kind of stretching it. That's really all we need. And most of us overeat all the time, including myself, We do it all the time. And, the only thing physical food does, is my belief, assist us in settling emotion. Has nothing to do with nutrition or any of that stuff, and that's my belief system. I don't believe it has anything to do with physicality of minerals, vitamins, this and that. It's all bullcrap. Because if you pay attention to people on a master fast, and then they've been on it for weeks and weeks and weeks with pretty much no food, just some juice, some herbs, their nails are getting better, their skin's getting better, their hair's getting better, so on and so forth. They're healing. How can this happen if there's no nutrition happening? This is where you have to understand that we have everything within our bodies. And as you remove the obstruction, as you keep removing obstruction, the body's going, okay, I can heal now. We have a good field interaction. Bang. The plasmas are interacting the way they're supposed to, and the body heals. That simple, folks. It's really that simple. I don't know how much more simple we can make it. This is how it works. And anything that we hear out there is all bull crap. Most of it is bull crap. And then people are going to start putting in their comments of, okay, so what happens when we start putting minerals and the body starts healing? Why does that happen? Well, the reason is because our body is so full of obstructions, we can't access what we have within our body. So we're taking in from external sources, so the body has some access to those minerals, which we can manifest within, and then we start seeing benefits. Now, yeah, so when we stop taking those, what happens? We go back because the body still has the obstructions. And this is what most everybody in the natural health movements are not seeing. They're not seeing this, and they don't believe it. They don't believe it. That's why they're recommending you need to take this vitamin, this mineral, this herb, this that, blah, 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 it goes on and on and on and on. Look at everybody except people that are running fasting clinics, water fasting, which right now, after what I know, what I've experienced, I won't recommend water fasting ever again. Never again. It's too stressful on the body. It completely sucks all your energy out. No need for it. That's from what we see. We're seeing much better results with master fast than we are with a water fast. There's no need for it. And you're putting yourself through all that stress for 30, 40, 50, 60 days on a water fast. We can go on a master fast for much longer and keep working, keep doing everything we do, working out, whatever you want to do, pretty much, and we're still getting healing. We're doing everything opposite of everybody else, folks. I'm telling everybody, keep moving, as long as it's not vigorous, like weightlifting, because if your kidneys are not open, forget it. Don't do any weightlifting. But if you're in a really high level of health, you've been master fast for a while, and your kidneys are wide open, yeah, you can do weightlifting. Why not? The body's functioning now. You can do it. But, a lot of us are not in that phase, so we don't do the heavy stuff. We do yoga, we do brisk walking, jogging, riding bike, Pilates, rebounding. We can do all these things. And I highly recommend we force ourselves to do these, especially when we're dry fasting, because if you don't, you're going to have a much harder time, and you're not going to have as good as an outcome. Through my experience, and a few of us who've also went down these routes can also back me up in saying that, yeah, you need to move. You need to move. I'm only speaking from my experience and common sense. It's not rocket science, folks. You should always be able to see this and figure it out on yourselves when you do a little bit of experiments. Try dry fast for 5 days without moving. Stay in bed. And then the next one, do it with moving from the beginning at the first day. Just keep moving, and then let me know how you feel, and see if you're if any of this makes sense. So you know, we don't have all the answers, folks. As you notice, I keep changing things, little things here and there on the master fast, because when I see things happening repeated from 2 or 3 different people, okay, there's something there. We need to make a little change, you know. So we change it, like, you know, the pudding that we've increased it. You know, I was very cautious with that at the beginning from my past experience, but no, we need to do it, because what's really happening with the extra pudding going through our system is we're getting a lot more drawing action to pull out and those toxins and so on and so forth. It's a big bonus. I think it was Joshua when he upped it at around 60 days, he got that huge release of a massive cesspool. Like, poor guy, man. You know, he was turning to stone. Literally, he was turning to stone. He's healed a lot, but he's got a lot more to do. Emotionally, he was completely drained at 90 days. He had to stop. But he's healed so much, so much. So I don't know, folks. How much more easy can we make it? Dry fast the rest of our life. Don't eat no more. Yeah. Anybody have comments, questions?
Maybe check the chat.
Okay, we got tons of chats here. Let's go. Morning. Just going through these questions here, if there's any. Wow, cold as alkaline would be awesome. Oh, what happened? I lost it. Every time a new one goes in, it goes down. Cold as alkaline would be awesome, but you hate cold. Missy, yeah, Connie. Yeah, we hate the cold, but we need to learn to love it. And she loves your accent, Elena. Yeah, accents are cool. I recommend people print the protocols. Yeah, print them out so you can highlight and go, because it's all there. It's all there. The info is all on the website. And some of the files. There's the extra tips and stuff. And I'm not putting too much work on that website because we're working on a new one. But it's going to take some time. Time is limited. No enemas during dry fast. No. Dry fasting, we always suggest empty your bowels before the dry fast. Right before you're going to dry fast, enemas, colonics, whatever. It's going to make your dry fasting experience much more pleasant, folks. I'm telling you, it's just by experience, it's going to make it much more pleasant. Sometimes on a dry fast, you might have bowel movements, but we don't concern ourselves with bowel movements when we're dry fasting. You may go 6, 7, 8 days, whatever, no bowel movement. Don't worry about it. When we finish our dry fast, we hydrate. 2, 3 hours later, we do another enema or colonic to help remove all the debris that the fast has loosened up. This is all we're doing. We're assisting what the body does by itself perfectly. We're not creating any magic potions and lotions and things and making it sound like scientific and all that. We don't need any of that. The body knows what to do. I don't know how much more simple we can make it. We get in the way. These simple tools that we're using, we're just assisting. That's all we're doing, assisting. It's here. Lauren Lockman is like that. He's not a fan of enemas and herbs. Yeah, he's not. We know that. They're stuck in their mindset. Okay, whatever. He may be right. I don't know. Not from what I'm seeing. Lack of fears, bad break case. Hard to see these here. It's,
Yes.
no, it just keeps moving.
Mm.
If people want to speak, it's easier. But I think finally mentioned she's not Mike. Where's one? I think I had a question. I'm sure people have spiritual experiences on long or fast, for sure, but not much talked about. Would there be a page where people feel free to discuss? Well, we have the Facebook, and people are free to discuss things. People have talked about it in the past. You know, the page has only been up for just over a year. There's a lot of info on there, and we've discussed it before. As I've talked about this just before, you feel more connected, more information comes through when you're fasting. I get a lot of ideas when I fast, and especially when I go out for a bike ride or something on a fast. I get downloads of information. That's what happened with me about this herb that I shared with Gabrielis. I was on a bike ride, and I said, "Hellebore, uh, I need to share this with Gabrielis. I believe this is going to help him." And it was bang on. I didn't know anything about it. I share people's spiritual experiences. With so much dry fasting and enemas, what do you think of natural probiotics in liquid form? If you're going to use like probiotics like kombucha and stuff like that, I don't really have an issue with those kind of things too much. I wouldn't go crazy with them. I've used them. I don't really see any negative, but I wouldn't be buying bottles of probiotics and all that. Forget about all that. Make your own. Use sauerkraut if you believe you need it, or kombucha, or what's the other one? Kefir, waterborne kefir. I've used them. Sauerkraut I still eat occasionally. I like the taste of it. But if I eat too much, you get gassy and so on and so forth. That's a little bit because I'm so full of sulfur. Slowly but surely it's starting to come out. But I don't really have too much of an issue with these things. I think they can help people. I know they've helped like really, really toxic people that have started taking kombucha and kefir and stuff. They've got benefits because they're so full of toxins that these extra bacteria and stuff can help eat away and clean up the body. So, yeah, you know, there's no big issue in using that. Somebody has their mic open. Okay. Yeah, please keep your mic muted until you're going to speak so we don't have extra noises, folks. But everybody's quiet tonight. Call it a night. It's just we keep repeating everything over and over, but the repetition is the mother of skill. This is how we learn. We need things repeated over and over and over, and then one day it becomes part of us, and we don't need to hear it anymore. So this is the way we learn.
Can I ask you a question about kidneys?
Yep.
So I noticed when I did my first dry, I started off with 4 days. So after 3 days, my urine was very dark and I could see it was cloudy. But on next day, on the fourth day, it was clear again, but I didn't do anything. I didn't drink or eat anything.
Yeah, that happens. That can happen.
Is that because there's a block, or is it if the kidney is closed, or how does
No. Like what you got to understand, when you're in dry fast, you're going through different stages all the time. From going into a very, very acidosis state, because that's the highest form of healing, folks, not alkalinity. Acidosis. Completely opposite of what everybody's teaching. So when we go, it goes in stages. I think it's in Phil Knopf's book, if I remember. It goes in stages. Like I think it happens at 4 or 5 days, 6, and then at 6 or 7, 8, 9 days. It goes in stages that you go into these really deep forms of acidosis. So when you go into that, the body is using I'm going to use the word plasma to burn toxins and release them. And we can see these being released in matter through our urine. Now, sometimes the body is holding on excess water because of consumption of salts and so on and so forth. So you may see sometimes a huge filter happen, and then the next day you have like a clear urine almost. So it's just the body getting rid of excess water that was held by the water in deep pockets that it couldn't get rid of before. That's all it is. So we go in stages, and you'll see that. Some days you're going to be filtering really, really heavy, and other days you're filtering hardly anything, or like you said, clear, or and then you go longer, and you'll filter more. So it just goes in stages, back and forth. You don't put too much mind into it that we have to filter all the time. Most of the time, you're going to see filtering when the kidneys are open. Most of the time. Sometimes you're going to see a lot less. Sometimes you're going to see a lot more. Don't worry about it. Don't put the mind into it. Just let it be. Just know the body is doing what it's supposed to do. And just massage those kidneys with the burnt stick, and so on and so forth. But yeah, no big deal. These are fine, Robert. Don't worry about it. Everybody ate too much today.
Too much.
I think Elena had a question earlier.
I have to make. I forgot to turn. Who had a question? Elena? Yeah, it's easier when people just speak for questions. For me to keep track of the chat here, it's tough.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Teresa.
Oh, yeah, okay. Elena mentioned that's what Filanov told us, that extreme acidosis heals and confused us out of our minds. Yep. Elena, this is my discovery. Acidosis is the king of healing, not alkalinity, folks. We've been lied to again. Go ahead, Teresa.
Okay, the question was not really a question, but you know about, you say, why is it so complicated? It is probably very, very easy when you know it. But when you're going to mind fog and your mind is not clear, then to go through the instructions, I mean, it's like I had to work like 4 hours writing it down just to be able to make the first and the second day. Because it's our mind which is not clear. It's not a program. The program is very clear. It's the people with a blocked mind who can't understand it. And that's where the problem is.
Yeah, exactly. Just like stagnation could be in any part of your body, your fingers, your hand, your arm, your leg, your foot. It could be in the brain as well. And this is where we have challenges with people that are sick in trying to communicate with them. They have blockages, and you can see it's not sinking in. They just can't pick it up for some reason. And you have to keep repeating it over and over and over. So, yeah, this is a huge, huge issue. For people with the mind when there's stagnation. So yeah, let's see. I'm just looking for something, folks here. Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking for. There you go, Allison. I made you host, so I don't have to look through this. I just seen you came on after. Yeah, you can take care of the questions if you don't mind on the chat. So I don't have to go through that. Anybody else?
Did you finish the comments in the chat?
Ali is very sleepy. Brain fog's a bitch. How to go now? I have to go now. Okay, Artie.
Bye.
Bye, Artie. Unless she already went. Thanks for joining us. Lost my sound.
It's good that you
Yeah, well, it keeps going down. It's hard to manage these because when anybody adds a chat, then it moves it automatically to the bottom. It's kind of weird.
Okay, let me come in then. What I do find, I was just going to start typing, is when I do my 20-hour fast, and 21 maybe, and I've got an eating window.
Can you move away from the microphone a little bit?
Is it better like that?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, when I do my 20 or 22-hour fast or whatever it works out, and then I start eating, even if it's fruit, I find that I get very, very, very tired every day.
Very
And that I
tired.
want less and less and less food. I don't really want so much. I've got trouble. I'm eating because it's a mental thing, not because I'm hungry to eat. But once I start to eat, I think, like you say, a fist I have enough. But then the mental plays a role by saying, oh, no, you only got this window to eat, you have to eat. That's the mental.
Yeah, it's all emotional. What was your diet prior, before, for all these years?
Well, I've been a year on the road now since
Oh,
January.
1 year in raw. Okay, okay.
Really raw. I mean, no exceptions.
Excellent.
Fruit and vegetables. And since May, no fat.
Yeah. So, you just consider all the years of eating other stuff before. The body has got a lot of cleaning to do. A lot of cleaning. Takes years. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's like people want it. You keep looking for magic pills. Oh, this other herb and this other thing. Yeah, we use them, but it's not going to do anything unless you start removing obstructions, which I've been talking about. The obstructions are the key. You got to remove obstructions. And the best way to move obstructions is with acidosis, not alkalinity. Dry
Can
fasting.
you explain that this acidosis and alkalinity? Because I haven't understood that, because everything up to now in my life has been alkalinity.
Well, we talk about the pH scale from 0 to 14, 7 is neutral. And the body is in a slightly alkaline state when it's in a homeostatic state, when it's a balanced state, slightly alkaline. Now, when we're in an unbalanced state, the body tends to go into more of an acidic state, okay? And everybody is telling us that we need to alkalize and alkalize and alkalize to correct the body and bring it back to balance, okay? The issue is that you can only go so far alkalizing with fruits and this and that, because the only way you're going to alkalize is eating. And as I've been saying, eating is not the doorway to health, to healing. It's removing the food from your diet. So when you remove all the food from the diet, how are you going to alkalize? You don't. You're going to go into a dry fast, can remove all the food, all the liquid, and you go into an extremely strong acidic state to accelerate healing like there's no tomorrow. That's how it works. You can't go into an acidic state, a healing acidic state by eating acids. It doesn't work that way. You have to stop eating completely and drinking to go into a healing acidic state. There's two ways, there's two different types of acidic states. There's the healing acidic state, which is doing nothing, and there's the eating acidic state, meaning eating all animal products and grains and proteins and milk. There's two different things, two different avenues where very few people understand this. So you have to draw the line there of doing nothing to heal, to get in a healing acidic state, or staying in an acidic state by eating acids. I hope I can make that clear that way.
I understand.
Yeah. So that's the difference. And that's what few people on this planet probably understand. Very few. I discovered it by coincidence, I guess. It's I don't know, just things come easy to me. And when I'm fasting, especially, I get information downloads, and things become more clear. So we've only been taught partial truths, let's put it that way. When you come out of these strong acidic healing states, we need to alkalize because we can't stay in those states too long. This is why Master Fast shines, folks. Going back and forth. The sponge, think about the sponge. Wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry. We keep bringing in, we squeeze it, bring it out, the organs and the tissues and the glands and the cells, and then we bring in the clean fluid, and then we do it again, and again, and again. And we're doing it going to acid and alkaline. And this is, we're playing with fields here. I'm speaking more in the matter state because more people understand that. But all we're doing is creating gradients. We're creating gradients, very strong gravitational magnetic field strength to have a very strong plasmatic interaction happening on dry fasting. And then we go back on the liquid, on the juice, and we have that happening again, back and forth, back and forth. And this is why we're getting miraculous healings happening with people on Master Fast. It's that simple, folks. There's no rocket science behind this. I'm trying to keep it in the simplest forms that we can understand it. Plasma has a gravitational and a magnetic field strength, and it's in a form of a toroid, basically, of fields moving. And we have an exit and an entry point. And we have one field which is gravitational, which is pulling, which takes. And the magnetical field is the giving. And between those two fields, when there's two opposing or gradient, different strengths, we're going to have a balancing act trying to happen between the offsets of these two different strengths. And that's what Master Fast is, folks. That's all it is. And in them trying to balance each other, we're creating motion and movement and healing. That's all it is. That's all it is. So the whole universe works on fields. Now the herbs growing on the ground plants have the strong gravitational fields, the pulling, the taking, and that's why they're the healers. I'm going to repeat that again. The herbs are the takers, not the givers. See, everybody is thinking that the herbs are giving to heal. No. I'm going to go back again. Hopefully you guys will really get this. It's not what we receive that heals us. It's what we let go. I'll go back to make it again simple. V equals P, take away O. It's the obstructions that we remove that heals us. It's not what we need and take in. This is what everybody misses the boat out there in healing. Somebody has their mic open, Allison.
I've got my mic open.
Okay.
I still have a question.
Yeah, you can shut your mute your mic when unless you're going to speak, so we don't have noises on the recording. But this is the key, folks. The key is we need to let go of obstructions to heal. I don't know how much easier I can make it. You can add anything you want, all the minerals and vitamins and probiotics and so on. It's not the way to heal. I've let the cat out of the bag many times, but people cannot grasp what I'm saying for some reason. And I'm trying to put it in a language that we can understand it. It's really, really, really that easy. It's not what we can give the body. It's what we can release from the body to allow the healing to happen. And Mr. Kesh explained this to us as well. And it really hit home because I've been talking about it for years about V equals P take away O. And I fell into the trap of adding this, that, and the other thing, just like everybody else, putting all these minerals and going with this and that and that. Yeah, you'll see some benefits. Stop doing them. You're going to go back to where you were because the problem was not solved. The root cause was not solved, and the physicality and the emotion is not solved for sure. So this is where Master Fast shines very bright, because what is it doing? It's removing obstructions like no tomorrow. That's all it is. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We found out a huge stepping stone where most everybody missed the boat out there. Filanov is one of the few that understands this. He's one of the few folks. And I was amazed when I read his book. It's a Google translation, but you get the understanding by reading it. So I would suggest everybody go through it and get the understanding of what he's talking about. We're just taking it a step further. Not further, sorry. We've expanded it. We've expanded what Filanov is discovered. I believe so, because you cannot just drive fast and go back to your regular life. Sorry, folks. You're not going to solve your issues. You have what's called memory within the cells. When you go back to your normal ways, you're going to go back to where you were very quickly, within weeks or months. You won't solve, you go back to your same old illnesses. So you have to completely change everything in your life, everything, from A to Z. So it's good to change the times you go to sleep, change the times you wake up, change the times you eat. You have your dry fasting window, so you're making it smaller. You're changing everything. You're leaving your old life in the past. You don't want that anymore. You don't want to be a part of it no more. You don't want anything to do with it anymore. Because if you go back to it, you're going to go back to your old illnesses. It's that simple. Change everything. Change everything. Change the direction of your bed. I don't know. Change everything. change your furniture around. Start throwing things out. Obstructions in the home. Everything affects everything. There's that also causes stagnation. What's it called? Feng shui. When you move things in the house to move energies differently. These are all Feng shui, yeah. So yeah, we got lots of things that we can use. Connie, oh geez, keeps moving this damn thing.
Can I just ask something else? How little can one really eat and live after you go back to eating? How little can you eat,
What's the menu?
No. You drive fast, let's say 23 hours, and you eat. How little can one really eat if one is not hungry? Can one really eat very little after the master fast?
Oh, you mean if we keep a 1 hour window every day?
Yes. Can you eat little afterwards? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. There's lots of people doing 1 meal a day.
Yeah, but I also do 1 meal a day, but over like 2 hours or 2.5 hours. But how little can you eat to survive? How little can your body eat to survive?
Listen, I'll repeat it again. It's not what you give the body. It's how much obstructions can you remove. The more obstructions you remove, the less physical foods you will need. That's the key. That's the key. And
I get it.
The amount of food is only going to be in a relation to settle your emotion, not the physicality. It's the emotion. If your emotion is not settled, is when you're going to start losing weight, you're not going to feel good, blah, 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 blah. It's the emotion. It's not the physicality, folks. It's not the physical foods. No. Not at all.
Just as example, last time I did the master fast, I went down to 118 pounds. This time I'm doing this, I'm 150, and it's not going lower because I'm released most of the garbage, and so I'm totally relaxed this time. Last time was on a little bit of tension, but now I went on a scale and it was 154. So it's not about padding.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. There you go, man. You got pretty good genes. I've seen your eyes. You got pretty good genes. You don't have a weak constitution.
I'm lucky.
Yeah. So, yeah, like me, I don't have really weak. My constitution, it's a bit on the weak side, but my problem is the sulfur. I have so much sulfur. Slowly, I'm getting it out, but we do what we can. But yeah, see, there you go. We got samples of people all over the place of what I'm talking about. It's common sense. It works. Work the system. The system will work for you. 108 days is not going to solve your problem, folks. It's not. I'm sorry. It'll solve a lot of your problems. It's not going to solve all your problems. It's a stepping stone to remove a lot of the cesspool out of the body. So then when you go back to eating, you prepare for your next one. And if you want to do another 108 days, go for it. But most people, after one long one, it's challenging for them to do another long one. They may do it, and you can do it, no issues. Like I said, Myron is he's not planning on eating anymore. So, if you want to do 108 days a year, go 108 days a year, whatever turns you on. But at least you're going to need to do a spring and fall 40 days. That would be very, 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 very good for your health. And it'll be a breeze if you do it one long one. If you do 108 days the first time. And there's few people that go down to skin and bones. We've seen it. And then we're getting the negative comments, that I get from other boards, the people talking about us and so on and so forth. They don't understand. They don't have a clue. And they will never understand because they're looking in the wrong direction. They're looking at the physicality, which is limited. And they don't understand that you have to remove the obstructions to solve the physicality and settle the emotion. There's no other way. There is no other way. So, Gabrielis is one. There's a few other people. We have Michelle. Michelle, she did 108 days. She went to skin and bones pretty much. And she kept messaging me, I'm not gaining weight. I'm not gaining weight. I go, hang on, Michelle, keep going. Hang on. And she kept messaging me and messaging me and messaging me. I hope she tells her story one day. She healed a massive amount of issues. Like, she's made posts here and there. I don't know if everybody's caught them, but she's healed so much stuff, folks. And then within the last, she posted a picture maybe about a month or so ago, and she's skin and bones. And she's topless. She posted topless, skin and bones. And then I said, Michelle, I think you've reached the turning point. I said, start adding just a little bit of hemp seeds. I think that's going to help you. And guess what? She started gaining weight. And she just posted yesterday or today, I believe, that she, from 35 kilos, she's like 41 now. She reached the turning point to start putting on weight. But she did the Master Fast at the beginning of the year, I believe. She started in January, March, I believe. So we're almost at the end of the year for her to start putting on weight. It may take somebody 2 years before they start putting on weight. Everybody's different. But I'm just trying to give you examples of, we don't know where your emotion is at, where your physicality is at. These all play in how much weight you're going to lose and how much weight and when you're going to gain your weight back. We're all at different stages. Like me, I don't lose as much weight as other people because I've been fasting for so long, but I did lose a lot of weight. I did 108 days. I went down to, I think it was 138 or 139 was my lowest point. That's the lowest I've been as an adult, is my weight. But I never went down below that at 108 days. Other people like, Gabriel's went less than me, but now look at him. He's not moving 150 pounds, man. Stable as a rock. So, this is where I'm saying, the more you do it, the more obstructions you move. the more your body will stay at that weight. It'll be more stable. When you drive fast, yeah, you're going to lose weight because it's all the water and stuff. But still, you're not going to go as low as you were unless you go on a really, really long one. And even then, when you practice drive fast for a long time and you remove a lot of obstructions, you're not going to lose a lot of water weight. I'll guarantee you. If you practice for a few years, your weight's going to stay stable even on water on a dry fast. It's hard to comprehend, but if you read the article I put up, I transcribed it, Kesh Living on Light, it's in the file section, and you read that, you're going to get a new understanding of what I'm talking about. It's all there. It's all there. Physical foods are not necessary. If you read the article, he reveals it, how it's done. It's the nitrogen that we can feed ourselves off of and create anything the body needs. We don't need external sources, folks. So, you know, when you guys are reading what people are that people are doing the master fast, that are actually doing the master fast, don't pay attention to people who are not, that are not doing the herbs and they're not following. Pay attention to people who are doing it. All the people who have done 108 days, for the people who have done 90, 80, 60 days, even 40 days, they have a little bit of an understanding. Anything less than 40 days, you need at least a 40 days. That's why Christ and so on and so forth, 40 days. There's a magic 40 days, the number 4. But we push it further because we've lived so far away from nature that we've completely destroyed our body, and we can't solve it with a 40-day fast anymore. We just can't. We can't solve it with 108. So look at the people and listen to the people that are on the master fast, on these long master fasts, and pay attention what they talk about. Pay attention. Read it over and over, everything they write. Because there's things in there that are magical that not even the person writing them notices sometimes. And I repeat this over. Pay attention to people because there's magic in what they say. And this is where we learn. This is where I learn. This is where I learn from everybody. I pay attention to what people say. We even learn from the naysayers and the people that discredit us and everything. We learn from them as well. But the real magic is the people doing it. So, you know, the whole issue is the faith and the trust. I'll keep repeating it. The faith and the trust, faith and the trust. Gabriel has pushed dry fasting farther than most of us. 15 days. Wow. You know, I did 12, and I could have done another day back then, but I was happy at 12 because I only did 7 before that. I mentioned it. And 12 was, wow, man. and there's that a wonderful feeling that I tapped into where I had absolutely zero desires for anything at all. No desires. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful feeling. I can't express it in words. You have to experience it. I think Gabriel would agree with me. There's no words to express. You have to unmute yourself.
Such a state that you're meditating constantly, even though you're talking on a physical level to the person next to you, but you're guided all the time. You feel that deep, deep connection to your truth, the roots, and that's the energy. All that we see, it's a perfect illusion. So that's why we're talking about the nitrogen, oxygen, those basic 4 elements. And that's how body creates all that stuff. But on a deeper level, it's a beautiful illusion. Everything is illusion created by the source. It's just that. And you get connected to that source when you are on those deep dry fasts. You know?
Attention to the chats, yeah. So, like, you know, I'm nobody special, folks. I'm just a guy who's had many different experiences. Almost killed himself trying to clean himself out many times. And I'm no special. I'm no special person. I'm just like all of you. I go through challenges like all of you guys, believe me. I go through all these challenges of eating sometimes too much. And I go through all this stuff. But, you know, when you've tasted the benefits of being in a really balanced state, it sticks with you, and that's where you focus on all the time, you know. So, you know, we have to have that trace, the faith and the trust. That's all we got to keep that, and that's why I repeat, we should write all our goals down, write them down, and put them somewhere where you see them all the time. The power of the pen, believe me, fake it till you make it. You may not think it works, and I was one of those. I used to write things that people, because I used to listen to all these positive talkers and all that, and I spent all kinds of money on programs and stuff. But it all came to be, folks. That stuff I wrote years ago, it almost came out exactly as I wrote it down. And it shocks me, you know, so it works. It works. It works. Just do it. Who cares if you don't believe it? Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Because there's a magic that happens when you write things down for some reason. And you know, we just got to keep pushing. We just got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Because if we don't want to push anymore, then it's time to leave this physical body and move on, because there's no more purpose. And when we just move on from this physicality into the other realms. But, you know, we can enjoy ourselves here, and we get much more joy when we're healthy. I don't like being sick. I've been there, and I've been through agonizing pain for weeks and months at a time. Agonizing that I would never wish on anybody. So I like being healthy, and that's why I keep going and going and going, because it's a lifetime thing that we need to do. You can't just do it for a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or 7 years and then go back. You got to continue. And this is where we need a system. And I put a lot of thought, and I had a lot of information come through me to put this master fast together. It's not rocket science. It was always available to us if you really pay attention to it. There's nothing really new except a little bit of the plasma, but it's still all available to us. There's people living on light. There always have been, and there always will be, that are living in this physical form. So the information has always been there. Well, I'm no genius. I'm just an average guy like you guys. You know, I failed English and all that stuff, and I don't have any great education. I don't have any certificates. It's just I just notice I look at things differently than other people. The way I comprehend it, I don't know. That's the way I am, and that's why, you know, when I used to build machines and working with steel and also welding, all that stuff. And, you know, you have to repair automobiles and all this stuff. You have to always find problems. I was always good at being able to find problems, and, you know, so you can fix it and solve the solution, solve the problem. And, you know, same thing with the body. I've looked at it the same way. So that's where I'm coming from. That's my background. No.
I don't see questions, but some people were talking about the weight. Some people have lost. Some people have lost and then gained.
Yeah.
On the market.
Yeah. Anybody else? We have a few new people on. If anybody has a question, unmute and speak, or forever hold your peace.
Hi, Eleanor has a question.
Go ahead, unmute.
If you put this, you can see them all. They have a wave or something.
Do you still overeat?
Myself, yeah. I just said I go through challenges like everybody else. My overeating now is nowhere near what I used to be able to eat. Like I used to be able, when I was eating, let's say just on the raw food diet, I used to make a big, massive bowl of salad. Big, huge. And I would eat all that plus all the fruit I would be eating every day. I had fruit. I have to have fruit, and lots of fruit. I would be able to eat 1, 2, even 3 durians myself in one day. Now, one durian, I'd have to force myself to eat a durian. It's overeating if I eat a durian, one durian. And the small durian, I've never bought big ones because the small ones were always better. So yeah, I go through challenges, but I always feel better when I don't eat. Always, always. That's why I strive to do my 2 days every week and my 3 days at the end of every month of dry fasting all the time. I'm still mentally trying to prepare to go 3 days a week. I haven't gone there yet. This past week, I haven't even done a dry fast because I've been working with the toxic herb, and my body just didn't want to dry fast this week, so I backed off. It's no big deal. You miss a week here and there, but I'm like clockwork. For the last few years, I've been dry fasting every day. I have a window. Every week, I have my dry fasting window. I started on 36 hours a week, and then about a year ago, I moved to 48 hours a week. And so now it's time that I need to step up to 48 hours. The 3 days, 72 hours a week. And that's how I feel I'm working toward. I haven't got there yet, but I keep that in my mind and I'm moving north. But it's the emotions. The physical body does not need a lot of food.
Gina, can you talk a little bit about why water is dehydrating?
Yeah, okay. Hydration of the body. We are told and we are taught that our body is made up of about 70, 80, or 90% water. It's all false. It's false. Our body is in a plasmatic GANS state. GANS is gas in nanostate. And I've taught and I've showed a few videos how we can collect and make GANS materials and collect amino acids by just from air and salt water. That's the way our body works. Our body is in that state. All our skin, our bones, and everything are in that state. It's in a gas in nanostate. It's not water. So hydration is not about water. It's about hydrogen. Hydration is not about water. It's about hydrogen. So how do we hydrate? The best way to hydrate the human body, believe it or not, is dry fasting. Completely opposite of everything we've been taught. And I found that out by putting it to the practice. I regained 3/4 inch of my lost height by dry fasting. And I stopped drinking water. Because I used to be like everybody else, you need to drink 2 or 3 or 4 liters of water a day. And I did it. And I went out and spent all kinds of money on ionizers and filters and alkaline water and all this stuff. And I started, I was drinking water, and then I upped it. I went even more water. The more water I drank, the worse I felt. I'd be going to the bathroom every 15, 20, 30 minutes. It was getting crazy. And and then that's when I fell apart, and the light switch came on again, and I said, "This ain't working. I'm going back to my basics." And I went into the dry fasting and all that, and everything started turning around. And then the light came on, and I said, "All this is lies. We've been told. It's all lies. It's not about water. It can't be. It doesn't work." I did it. I put it to the test, not for 1 month or 2 months. For years I did it. And I got nothing but ill effects from it. So the way the body hydrates is when you dry fast, what are you doing? You're tapping into your inner source of plasma to tap into the nitrogen, which is in a plasmatic state in the atmosphere where you can draw and your body can manufacture your hydration, your amino acids, where you can build your body. Those are the 2 basic elements that we need to completely make any form of life. Any form of life, anything. There's nothing missing. Salt water and air which is mostly nitrogen, is you can create any life form. And what do we have in our body that's flowing all the time? We have salt water, which is called blood. So hydration is about hydrogen, not about water. And by dry fasting, practicing dry fasting, not one time, you have to practice it. It has to be part of your life. You're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Eventually the body gets it. Oh, okay, no more external source of water coming in. Let me start hydrating now. And everything starts repairing itself. Because you can only repair the body through hydration. And create the balance of alkalinity and how do I put it? Let's call it balance. We create balance and hydration through dry fasting and through proper eating, and minimize our eating and removing obstructions. We can't do it through eating and drinking water. Look at everybody around us. Everybody eats, everybody drinks water, everybody's sick. Everybody's got bottled water around them. When I grew up, people were a lot healthier than they are now, and nobody was carrying bottled water. Just on that one thing alone of my observation. Just one thing. Nobody had bottled water. Nobody was constantly drinking water. Everybody was healthier, much less diseases when I was a kid. And if you look at old black and white movies from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, look at people's complexion. I study it. It's much healthier than what you see today. Today, plastered with makeup because their skin is horrific. Take a look at old movie, black and white movies. You'll see it clear. They're beaming. They're more healthy. So hydration is not about water. It's a lie, as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong, but with what I've observed and on my own body and what I'm seeing on everybody else, it's becoming to surface as a fact. Because people are healing. And the only way you're going to heal.
Hydrated.
Yeah, they're becoming hydrated and they're healing.
On the no water.
So,
and dry fasting.
You know, there's a lot of people who have mentioned, I couldn't live without drinking 1 or 2 gallons a day. This is people that, and now, you know, after they cross that stumbling block, they feel so much better. Removing the water, putting all that water through your system, you're just draining energy. That's what it's just stressing the kidneys big time and other organs, and just draining energy. Just like a river flowing, taking with it minerals to carry it back to the ocean. It's a drain. It's a drain. The water's a drain.
But if you're eating the standard diet, I understand why you need a drink.
Yeah, if you're eating cooked food, you're going to get thirsty.
Like the standard, not just cooked.
Yeah, if you're eating mostly raw foods, you have occasional cooked meals here and there, you're still not going to get thirsty. I eat occasional cooked stuff. I don't get thirsty anymore. Before I was always thirsty and I was always drinking. I don't get thirsty no more. The only time I get thirsty, like a little bit, is when I do my long dry fast. Even my 3-4 days, I really don't get thirsty that much. It's very, very little. It's only when I get on the long ones. So there's something to what I'm saying. There's some truth to it. Like just look at the people doing this. It's working, folks. It's working. Pay attention to the people doing it. Don't pay attention to the naysayers and the people who are not doing it. They're just going to confuse you and throw you into the mind and get your mind off track, because it does that. You know, when people start talking about you need this, this, and that, and this is missing, even sometimes I fall in the trap. I start thinking, and I go, no. I've been through that crap, and I have to correct my thinking. I fall in the trap too. So because it's our programming, it's so ingrained into us, we have to be conscious and catch ourselves to not go into that bullcrap thinking. We all do it. We all do it. We're all human. We've all been programmed. We've all been brainwashed. It's all around us continuously, and there's triggers. As we're out in society, there's triggers to pull us back into that. You know, when you're, maybe I'll give you an example. Television. You know, I haven't watched television in years. I threw mine all out. And now that my children moved back in my home, there's TVs all over the house blaring. You know, you're walking by the TV and you look at it, and it draws you. and you get stuck watching. Then I got to catch myself. No, what am I doing watching TV? And I walk away. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced that. This is what I'm talking. These are triggers. These are programs. This is how they control us. Television, newspaper, school, radio, whatever. These are triggers. They're the people that run the planet are masters at programming the human mind. They're masters. They do with all that. The frequency is the most potent. They do with food, they do with the water, and they do with the air. They know what they're doing. And if I'm sure most of you have experienced what I've just talked about, I'll just give you one example. There's triggers out there. But the key is that when you learn to catch yourself, you will catch yourself more often and more often and more often, and then it'll happen less and less and less, and it only happens occasionally. So that's why I'm having a little bit of a challenge coming back home here. When I was in Italy all by myself, and before I left Italy, I was all by myself. I didn't have much of a challenge. I was grooving. But now I have junk food, meats being cooked in my own home. It's something that I haven't been used to for the last 15 years. And I'm not comfortable with being around my home. Chemicals in the smell, chemicals in my home. It's not something I like. It draws me back. And then get these bullcrap thoughts. So I've been having challenges a little the last few weeks. And so, when you're with people that are in sync with you and are doing what you're doing, there's a synergy that happens. It's much easier. When you have people in your home and your family and friends that are not doing what you're doing, it's a challenge. I'm there with you. I'm there with you. So we have these challenges, folks. I went all off track from hydration, but it's all related. And it's all a programming. It's all a freaking program. I fell into the bull crap trap just like everybody else. Drink that water. You need to get hydrated. We don't need it. The only thing we use water for is taking showers, baths, making teas. When you make a tea, it's not water no more. It's transformed. We have information of the teas in there. And we don't need to drink large amounts. A small cup is all you need when you're taking in herbs. You don't need large amounts. People think backwards. 2-3 small cups of tea a day is more than enough. More than enough. And when we're using the liquid plasma, which is the water energized from the GANs material to give it the energetic form of plasma, we don't need to be using large amounts. A teaspoon drops is all you need to take that energy in. People always think more is better. No. Less is more. V equals P, take away O. Less is more. As we get an understanding of this, we're going to still fall in the traps. As I've discussed, I still do myself, but we have to catch ourselves, and that's all we can do. Anybody else? I hope that clears it for you, Elena. I hope it makes sense.
I just want to ask you, because I saw somewhere in your writings, I think we discussed or asked this question already, about that you added seaweed to your diet. Do you still do that, or is that past?
Seaweed?
Yeah. Somewhere I wrote that you were adding fruit and seaweed to your diet.
Yeah. Seaweed, I still use a little bit of seaweed. I don't need large amounts like I used to because you don't need it. These are herbs from the ocean, powerful herbs from the ocean. They are wild, all wild strain. You don't need large amounts, folks. Small amounts. Sprinkle a little bit in your salad, whatever. In the past, I used to eat large amounts of everything because that's what I believe. We need more and more and more, but no, you need small amounts. It takes a time, a transition time for us to get to that. Some people will transition quicker into less. Some people will need more time to transition. You have to have a feel for your body and your belief system of how fast you can push. Like I have the dry fasting schedule for people to start on 12 hours a day, 24 hours once a week, and then push 3 days at the end of the month. And I'm seeing newbies pushing to 48 hours, 3 days a week. Whoa! If you can do it, that's great. But sometimes when you push that hard, that fast, you can crash. You know, I didn't even push that hard and that fast. So, you know, slow, steady. Start on 12 hours for a week or two. Move up to 13, 14 hours for a week or two. You know, start slow. You know, believe me, a slower transition is going to be easier on the body. There are people with strong constitutions who will be able to transition quicker. But another thing is the emotion, how balanced your emotion is going that route. We see a lot of people when they break the master fast, emotionally they're struggling. And most of us, you know, it's a challenge. It's a big challenge. I've talked to a lot of people. It's a big challenge. So prepare yourself to break the fast as soon as you start the first day of the 108 days. Prepare your breaking your fast then. Write down how you're going to break it. Prepare it. Very important, breaking the fast. Very challenging. Much more so than the fast for most people. Very challenging. It's part of the way it is. Because 108 days is not going to solve most of our emotional issues. It's gonna make them surface, bring them out for you. You're going to solve some of them, but not all of them. We have Nancy, who's been struggling with her skin issues. She's been writing some beautiful posts of what she's been experiencing, and many others. So it's always going to go back to the emotion.
When you select your herbs, do you have a certain group you use, or do you do organ and gland specific, depending on the issue the person's having in the body?
The way we use herbs is based on Dr. Morse's teaching. He's a master of how we need to use herbs. He mastered it, I think, better than anybody, using an actual system for using herbs instead of using herbs as treatment based, as everybody else in the herbology world is using pretty much. You know, you got this symptom, they give you that herb. He's come up with that great system to use herbs, and that's what it's based on. I do look at what a person has overall. The Divine Nine that I've chosen, it covers most people's issues pretty well, from head to toe, emotions and all. It's a big array and we really focus a lot on kidneys. We use a kidney tea, we use a kidney tincture, we use another kidney tincture, which I call longevity, which is all based on chi herbs to energize the chi, which is kidney and adrenals. So we're really focusing on kidneys because kidney is king in Chinese medicine. And when somebody has a massive amount of challenges, I will add to that. And not everybody invests on nine tinctures on their health. I don't know why. It's cheaper than eating with 9 tinctures. You know, it costs me about $10 a day to do the master fast, loaded up on herbs. So, you know, I don't suggest people invest and use herbs when they're eating. I've mentioned it many times. But when you go on a long fast, invest as much as you can afford on herbs. That's where you're going to get your biggest bang, and that's where the herbs are going to shine. So yeah, we use a system, and we do look at what a person has, but I tweaked it and worked around what Dr. Morse teaches on how to use herbs, and they work magic when we use them on a fast. They really work magic. Just look at people doing it. It's amazing. Just look at all the people on our page that have been doing fruits, eating fruit, and taking herbs for years, and they plateaued. They've just plateaued. They can't go any further. The issue is you have to stop eating. You got to remove all the gunk. That's that simple. That simple. I hope I've answered and cleared it up for you. That's all it is. There's no rocket science. Morse's system on using herbs works. It works great. But the other thing I'd like, I've looked at it in a different form than Dr. Morse. I've looked at things in a plasmatic field interaction, the way we use herbs. That's why we don't use any dried herbs as well. We use only tea and tincture. We don't use any dried herbs because we want to stay as close to a true fast as possible. I'm going to add this. And the psyllium pudding, which is the clay, charcoal, activated charcoal, and the psyllium, these are non-digestible items. The body doesn't digest them. They're just used, the body uses some energy to move them through, but there's no digestion happening. When we use dried herbs, like capsules and stuff, then we're starting to use digestion fire, and we're taking away from the fast. It's hard for people to understand this, but you are taking away from the fast. And this is why we want to stay as close to a fasting state by just using the juice, tinctures, and the pudding with the tea. And then we get into dry fasting, which that's the only true fast there is. That's really a true fast, dry fasting. Even the juice is not really a true fast, but we're very close to it, very close. So that's why we're doing it in that way, because we're looking at field interactions. The cooked juice has a strong, very strong plasmatic field with when we add the lemon. We have a good field interaction happening. That's why it's liquid Drano. And people that have done the raw juices fast versus this cooked juice fast, which is not a juice fast, will tell you the difference. I know it's like night and day. Gabrielis is another one. We have Carl Frugervoir. He'll tell you the same thing. He's done many, many long juice fasts, and there's many others. Artie has done them. Many of us have done. I've only done raw juice fasts in the past, except for my first fast in 1990 was a Concord grape juice fast, cooked. That was my first 40-day juice fast. But the raw juices there's a limit to where you're going to go with raw juices. Why? It's because of a new understanding that we have. When we cook it, it opens up the structure atomically to release their energy. I don't know how much more simple I can make that. Has nothing to do with enzymes, has nothing to do with nutrition. It has to do with plasma. And this is new in the science field, and this is taught by the Kesh Spaceship Institute. They don't teach about raw foods and eating and all that. They teach about how plasma interacts. And this is my understanding of how plasma works. And I've taken that little bit and I put it together on this Master Fast Cleanse. And also we have plasma happening in the psyllium pudding with the activated charcoal. That's another very strong plasmatic field interaction happening with the clay. And on its own, it's already very strong. And that's why the charcoal is so strong in helping people with poison, when they overdose on poisons and so on and so forth. It's pulling plasmatically. Physically, it's impossible for something to take on so many times its weight. Modern science doesn't understand it. It's happening plasmatically. It's doing it in a plasma form. It's taking plasmatically the poison and so on and so forth. And then the psyllium, we're using it physically to draw the matter states of things, and also the clay. But the charcoal, it's working more plasma than it is physically. And the other thing we're using, the way I've looked at it, is the tinctures and the tea. We're cooking the tea, and the tinctures are all made raw. And we're having a little plasma feel. I like putting the tinctures in the tea. Some people don't like the taste. Okay, so just take a shot of the tinctures first and then drink your tea. It'll happen in your stomach. So this is the way I look at things, Gary. I didn't look at it at a matter state so much so forth, except the way Dr. Morse uses the herbs. That's all I've looked at. But
more student myself, so
yeah. Most of us are.
yeah.
So yeah, Dr. Morse is teaching, man. We love the guy. He's He's opened up a book of things that, you know, were amazing to me. He motivated me of what I knew from my teaching initially, which was from Arnold Ehret. That was the first book I read in 1990, and then I read all his other books that I can get a hold of, and I went on from there with many, many other teachers in the health movements and so on and so forth. And I fell off the track listening to the mainstream science bull crap and all that, and I hurt myself really bad, and I destroyed my health. So we backed up way back, made it really simple, back to the basics, and took it a step further, and they basically expanded it. And we keep changing and expanding as we learn. And as I said, I learn from everybody. I learn all the time from people going through the system. I'm seeing miracles happen all the time. I don't know how long you've been on this call, but there's miracles happening all the time. I've just recently put together a testimonial. I've lost so many. I was saving them on Facebook, and apparently it doesn't work properly. I've lost so many testimonials. So as I keep finding more throughout the past year, I'll keep adding, but there's about 60 testimonials in there, or so on and so forth, and many, many others. I've just been sharing this in it's less than 2 years online, less than 2 years. On the website's about just over a year old.
The website, it's almost 2 years, and the Facebook is...
Yeah, the Facebook's just over a year. But I was helping people out before in private for a little bit, but I've been experimenting with things and trying things with different clients and so on and so forth. But I guess it was time to share it because I've seen so many people being hurt out there from wrong information the same way I have. And I said, I know I can help people because I just lay in the background, and I've been involved in a lot of the Facebook pages of Dr. Moshe and so on. And I just listened to people's bullcrap over and over and over. And I said, it's time that I have to share some knowledge, and let's see if we can help some people. And it seems to be working. It seems that we've been able to help a lot more people a lot quicker. And anybody else has any other suggestions to take it further and open it up, you know, we're all ears. By no means I don't have all the answers. I'm just a guy like you guys. Just you know, people still make fun of me with the Coke juice. Yeah, whatever. They don't have an understanding. Gabriel, he's also actually did a Concord grape juice, raw Concord grape juice fast prior to the master fast. And he'll tell you there's no comparison, and others as well. I've done raw grape juice fast. There was a few years back, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, in Toronto, they were importing South African black grapes with seeds. It was an amazing grape, and we don't see them anymore. And we used to buy it by the case. They were organic, and we would juice the hell out of them and do fast. There's no power compared to this cooked crap. No power. Like I'm telling you, man, it's hard to comprehend because I come from the raw as law background, just like most of us. But it's not law from what I know now. It's not law. When you eat, when we go back to eating, raw is law. Eat as much raw foods as you can and stay with as much fruit as you can, the least obstructive. Yes, when we're eating cooked foods, they cause obstructions. It's, you know, but a few steamed veggies here and there, occasionally for people, is not a big issue if your main part of your diet is fruit and you have fasting part of your life. You're going to be ahead of 99% of the people in your health. We've ran up to the 2-hour mark. I think we'll call to a close unless somebody has a quick question. We'll keep it at 2 hours because then it gets too long. And we'll do these once a week as, you know, if I can. We're gonna plan them every week, and we keep learning from each other. It's the family's growing, and this is the way I like it. This is the way we do our Kesh Spaceship Institute teachings every day. It's a beautiful system. We interact. It's like, you know, we're sitting at the table. I like it. It's much better than typing all day. So, yeah. this is what Masterclass is about. Sharing, having a support system on Facebook like no other. It came out to be a really beautiful support system. We have people around the clock from around the world always supporting somebody in need. It's working out really nice, really, really nice. We have a lot of bull crap coming through, people coming and going, but that's normal, no problem. It just strengthens the group more. The negative, the naysayer, it just strengthens us more. And we have the other issue that we're running into problems of shipping herbs around the world. It's getting more and more strict, and this is where people have to stand up for their rights, folks. The herb business is the worst business to get involved right now. I'm telling you guys, it's not fun. I've had 3 packages come back, 2 from Germany, 1 just came back recently, and I had 2 from Sweden. 1 came back, and another one came back with a big surprise, a really big surprise. I had emailed the guy that it came back recently from Sweden, and I said, why didn't you claim your item? Because it was marked from the post office as unclaimed. And he says, I got my herbs. Oh, okay. So then I called my friends up. Have you opened the box? No. So he opened it up, called me back. He goes, you're not going to believe this. There's no herbs in here. It's full of electronics. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, there's no herbs. He goes, do you know this guy? He goes, because this can't happen because it's stamped from the post office as unclaimed. I go, that's really, he goes, it's all electronic stuff, and the weight is not even anywhere near what the herbs were. So I have to go there and I have to take a picture of it and I have to send it back because this is really strange. We got charged $240 to get it sent back. So I'm out $240 from somebody doing whatever they did. It's really funny. It's but we get all kinds. We get all kinds. So in Germany, I won't be sending to Germany anymore. I won't be sending to Sweden anymore. That's 4 packages. Costs us money to get them shipped back, and it's sad. It's sad. I don't know. It's a bad time to be involved in herbs. That's all I can say. We have had no issues with UK, no issues with the US. There's a few other places we had. I think Spain, we've had no issues. Finland, we've had no issues. Well, there's a few places. We haven't sold a lot of herbs. I'm not in the herb business. I never intended, but we make very high quality herbs, and the people who've tried them have been spreading the word that they're good, and more people want them. So, if people want them, we'll send them to you, but the risk is all yours. We're not taking the risk. We're not taking the risk because I can't afford to take the risk. It's not a big business. I haven't sold a lot, and anytime we get hit, it's a loss out of my pocket, and I'm not willing to take the loss because our herbs are being sold at the best prices I can find on herbs on the market and at the best quality. So I can't afford to take the hit, or I'm going to have to raise the prices like everybody else, and I don't want to do that. I want to make it affordable for everybody. That's why I have them in the big bottle. So, and there's a minimum order of 4 bottles. So people have to make a commitment, and they have herbs for a couple of months. At least they're going to last you a couple of months. Because they're so strong, they've lasted people 108 days. So this is where we're at with herbs. We're having challenges with herbs. That's the other issue. So the only thing that's going to make that change is people. They're going to have to get in the government's faces. Say, buddy, you can't tell me what I can ingest. Sorry, you're out of line right now. I'm not your slave. That's literally what we have to do. They've enslaved us. It's a big problem now, folks. It's getting worse. Another area was we had an issue with Austria. A lady went to go to the customs. She had to bawl her eyes out to the customs officer, and he finally gave in to her. Otherwise, they were going to refuse him. So there's issues out there with herbs being sent. The only other way around this is we have them made in every country for the country, so there's no issue with shipping. But I don't know. I don't know where else to go with it. It's sad. It's sad that we have to go through this. It's a reality, though. It's not a good time to be in the herb business, folks. I'm telling you. My friends are saying it's the business is every time there's a new government regulation, it costs them money, and they can be shut down overnight. Overnight. So you're investing all this money, and you can be shut down. Who wants to do that? Who wants to invest all their time and energy and money to be able in a position to be in that risk? My friend's been in the business for a while, but it's you know, he said it not too long ago, it cost him $30,000 with Health Canada because of an issue that they had to come up with. Regulation. Okay, come on now, you know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It only costs everybody more money when these things happen. And that's why you see the high prices of herbs, because people cannot stay in business, in the herb business, if they don't sell it and make big profits to cover their asses when the government comes in their faces. That's the reality of it, folks. Honestly, that's the reality of it. Like our prices are very low. I really can't make it any lower, especially with our Canadian dollar falling all the time. We may have to raise them a bit, but it's still cheaper than anything out there. So with that said, these are the challenges we're faced with. If you can't get any herbs, you're going to have to forage, find whatever you can that's growing locally, make your own, but don't get on the master fast as just a juice fast without herbs, folks. Don't do it. Don't do it. You may get through it. You may not get through it like myself. I paid the price heavily when I was learning. I don't know if you know, Gary, I paid the price. I ended up in bed for 2 years with burnt kidneys back then, and it's not fun. It's so cheap insurance to have herbs along your fast. It's cheap. It's stupid to not do it. It's really stupid. And we get that. Yeah, sorry?
Especially if you grow your own.
Yeah. You know, and we keep getting these questions all the time, can I do without herbs? Oh, man. It's all written up in there and answered a million times. I just go to another site, to a juice fasting site. I don't want to deal with those people. I just don't. I don't have the time for it. I don't want to put the energy when they come screaming back that they have this and that happening and so on and so forth. We had one woman, she went into a severe sciatic nerve attack because it's a kidney spasm. Too much acid going through the kidneys at once, you know. And, you know, and then I had to guide her, get her out of it, and then she went to make her own herbs, and it helped her tremendously. You know, and Joshua in England, he went through a tremendous detox, even on the herbs. I can't even imagine what would have happened to the poor guy if he had no herbs. I can't imagine. He was on. I had him on like 11 or 12 tinctures because Ken Yu, he's a rough case, and he's only in his 20s. You know, he was turning to stone. So, yeah, the cheap insurance, folks. Cheap insurance. Buy as many as you can afford when you're doing a massive fast. All I can say. I'm not trying to sell herbs. Make your own. Buy them from wherever you want. Buy as many as you can afford. And with that said, I think we'll call it a close. If you have any other questions, prepare them for next week. Write them down. And like I said, we'll try and do these every week unless something comes up. Every Saturday, Toronto time, 7:02 for 2 hours. It's more than enough. And we'll keep learning from each other as we go through these experiences. But get on the Master Fast if you haven't done it. Your life will change. Ask anybody who's done it. It'll change your life. It's impossible that it will not. It's just so many beautiful things happening. It really goes to the root causes. All right, guys.
Nice one, Gino. Take it easy.
Thanks, Gino.
Been a pleasure with meeting with all you guys. Feels like a family. Let's take this to the next level and keep expanding, folks. This is what it's all about.
Good night.
All right, Allison, you can call it a close.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Nice to see everybody.
Good night. Have an awesome night.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.